Billy Joe.
You won't believe it.
What?
You'll never guess who I got to sup for Ricky and Elena tonight. Who? None other than Johnny Paycheck. Isn't that so bad?
Hey, why didn't you wake me up this morning?
I left early. You didn't have to get up then. I set the alarm. Didn't you hear it?
Why are you wearing your dark suit?
Going to Max's funeral. What's the matter?
I don't think you ought to go.
Why not?
Well, because you're not going to be welcome.
Max and I grew up together.
Don't give me that, Justin. You hated each other. You don't even care that he's dead.
People are going to think it odd if I don't go. They may mistake my absence for guilt.
Well, now, since when do you care what people think of you?
The Marshalls have an image to uphold. It's very important. I think you should come with me.
Huh. If I were to go to that funeral, you could just bury me, too, because Rena would kill me.
Rena, wake up, honey. I brought you some tea. Thank you, but I don't feel like tea. When I went downstairs, you said you were going to get up and get dressed. Come on. Sit up here. I can't find my gloves. I'll ask Vicky where they are. Max and I were going to name our children John Maximilian and Catherine Victoria. I know. If we had a second little girl, we were going to name her Ginny, after you. Max told me that. Yes. We were going to celebrate our first anniversary at the boathouse. We were going to ask you and Ryan to join us. Oh, Jenny. I can't go to that funeral. I don't want to say goodbye to Max. I can't say goodbye to Max.
Back to the beauty parlor and get my hair done. Whoa. How soon before Johnny Paycheck's going to be here, Billy Joe?
Well, he's going to come in about a half hour or so to rehearse with the band.
Oh, darn. I won't even have enough time to get there and get back.
You look beautiful, darling. I guarantee you.
Yeah, darling, you look fine. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. I'm so excited, Billy Joe. Hi, Lena.
Ricky. Hi, Billy Joe.
Elena, what are you two doing here?
Well, Elena just wanted to come by and apologize to you again.
Billy Joe.
Hey, there's no need to do that, darling. No need to do that at all. Now, everybody here understands what you two are going through right now.
Yeah, but it still puts you in a bad spot, Billy Joe.
Even if it did, sweetheart, it doesn't matter. And as it turns out, it's not such a bad spot at all.
What do you mean?
Well, I just got a call from Johnny Paycheck. He wanted to hear you sing, and, well, he called and I explained the circumstances and how you couldn't make it tonight. So he offered to fill in for you. Ain't that great?
Yeah.
You mean the Johnny Paycheck, the country and western singer?
It's the only one I know about. So you see, sweetheart, everything's going to turn out just fine. Well, Uncle Billy Joe doesn't want you to worry about a thing.
There you go. I'm sorry it went to pieces like that. It's okay. I hope I don't do that at the funeral. Maybe I should take a tranquilizer. Rena, you don't need a tranquilizer. If you feel like crying, you go ahead and cry. There's nothing wrong with that. I know. I just hate to see anyone see me cry. You'll be all right. Thanks for staying with me, Ginny. I wouldn't have left you even if you wanted me to. Certainly didn't want to stay at the ranch last night with Barrett there. I'm surprised he even showed up. Everyone was surprised. I wonder if he came here because of Max or because of you. Both, I suspect. Ginny, are you going to talk to Barrett while he's here? There's no point in it. He certainly wasn't very pleasant when I saw him last night. That's why I left so quickly. What happened? I walked into the kitchen, and there he was. I was so shocked that I didn't have much to say. Ryan came in after me, and Barrett made a few nasty remarks to him. So we just turned around and left. I thought that doctor in Colorado was able to help him. Well, there was no evidence of that last night. I know that Barrett's upset about Max. And he was disappointed because Steve was away at camp. Maybe if Ryan hadn't been there, things would have been different, but I doubt it.
Does he expect to stay very long?
Kate told me he was going back to Colorado right after the funeral. For Kate's sake, I wish he'd stay for a while, but you stay with me as long as you want to. Thanks. Better get up and get dressed now, okay?
Why not?
I'll go check with Vicky about those gloves.
I don't know what I'm doing looking at these pictures. I should know how they affect me. I surely did love that boy.
I did too.
How's Rena?
Not well. Jenny's with her now.
She get any sleep?
No.
How about you?
No.
It's been more difficult for you than for anyone.
It's difficult for all of us. Iris called this morning, and she said she thinks it's best for everyone that she doesn't attend the funeral. She's not sure how Rena will react when she sees her, and she's not particularly interested in seeing Ryan, so...
I agree. I think it's for the best. I let those kids down. I should have figured some way to stop Justin from drilling on the Harper place.
Honey, please don't start that again. You did everything you could.
Just when Rena needed me the most, I failed him. Because of it, Max is dead.
I don't believe that. And neither does Rena.
I hope I can find some way to help her now.
Just be here for her. That's all either one of us can do.
I will be, honey. I'll be here for Rena and for you.
You're going over to the funeral, huh?
Yeah. You want to come with me, or are you going to come with Rena and Jenny?
No, I better go with Rena. If we can ever get her out of bed.
She doesn't want to go to the funeral?
Of course she does. She dreads it.
You think she'll make it through the service?
I hope so. The state she's in right now, I'm not sure.
Well, I better finish getting dressed.
I don't think Rena will object to our being at the funeral. We'll be going to pay our respects.
Oh, face facts, Justin. Her whole family's going to object. Your whole family's going to object. Just leave it alone, okay?
I think you're wrong, but I won't argue. If you're opposed to going to the funeral, we won't go.
Fine. Let's get back to work.
Why don't we go out and pay a visit to Grandma? Tell Becky to take the rest of your phone call.
Justin.
I'm worried about Grandma.
Justin, you're not worried about her. You're going out there to see Barrett.
Well, Barrett is my brother. I am concerned about him.
Well, he didn't seem too pleased to see you yesterday.
He was just upset about Max.
He's upset because you're hassling your grandmother.
Ashley, would you just like me to forget about my whole family?
Well, you know what? It may not be a bad idea for a while. Give them some peace and quiet, Justin. Give them some time to get over Max's death. Then you can patch things up.
I don't have time. I have to plan for my future now. My future includes that ranch. I'm not giving up until I get control.
That will never happen.
Just wait and see.
Well, I'll see you over at the chapel, Elena. So long, everybody.
Bye, Ricky.
So long, Rabbi. Elena, why aren't you going with Ricky?
I have my own car, Billy Joe.
How you hold up, honey? Old Max, he was a hell of a guy, you know that? He's just gone and moved on to something better. You gotta believe that, darling.
You know, Billy Joe, Ruby came by to see me again about moving in with me
When?
yesterday morning. Billy Joe, I'm sorry. It's just not going to work out. Not right now.
Of course it wouldn't, sweetheart. I know that. I know you need time to be alone. I told Ruby that. She shouldn't have gone and pressed you like that.
I understand it. Ruby's just anxious to find a place and settle down.
You don't have to understand anything. That's the last thing you need to worry about right now, darling. Ruby will be fine.
I just wish that she would...
I mean it, Elena. Don't give it another thought. Ruby's going to find a place of her own. Don't worry.
Better go.
Sure. Elena, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know, okay?
Thanks. You're a wonderful friend, Billy Joe.
How are you feeling, Terry?
Oh, much better.
You must be exhausted.
No, I slept all the way across the Atlantic and most of the way to Houston.
You must have had a smooth crossing.
Oh, it was. I came on the plane that Alex used to take on business trips. Has 3 bedrooms and 4 baths. It's a nice way to travel.
Sorry you had to come home for such a sad occasion.
Still can't believe Max is dead. I kept looking out the upstairs window expecting to see him strolling down to the barn. What I feel saddest about is that I didn't spend more time with him. I was so caught up in my own life that I just took it for granted that my big brother would always be there when I needed to see him.
We're all guilty of that, Terry.
But I made a decision. I am not going to lose contact with Ricky and Elena. Can't believe how much Elena's changed.
Well, you've heard all that's happened, haven't you?
About the kidnapping and her singing career? Ricky wrote me. Kate, do you think that Elena's really changed that much, or is it just that I've been away so long I haven't been here to see her grow up?
Well, she certainly isn't the same girl that used to live out here. But then the city does things to people.
You're thinking about Justin, aren't you?
He always did march to a different drummer. But lately he's just gone crazy.
That's what Ryan said. We talk at least once a week, and he keeps me posted on everything.
Yes, he told me that.
Dawn had a fit when she found out that Justin bought her share of the ranch because he wanted to drill for oil. She was furious with him for deceiving her. course, furious with herself for not asking more questions of him.
Well, it's done. So let's not worry about it anymore. Justin will never get control of the ranch unless Courtney or Barrett or I sell our shares. And we'll never let that happen.
Ricky said that Justin is engaged to Ashley Linden.
Yes.
Well, no two people deserved each other more.
Hello, Ashley.
Mr. Connor, sorry I'm not at my desk.
That's okay as long as the phones are covered. Are you all right?
I cannot stop thinking about Max.
I know. I just wish that I told you I was planning to do another survey, then you could have told Max while I was in Galveston.
Why didn't you call?
Well, I didn't think waiting a day to tell Max would make any difference.
I know. Do you really believe that Justin was slant drilling?
Max sure did. He saw the evidence in pages in a logbook. He certainly wouldn't have lied about it.
I'm positive that Justin didn't know about any slant drilling. I mean, if Bubba did it, Justin didn't know.
Justin was in charge of the project, Ashley.
Well, he was never out in the field. You know he doesn't know anything really about drilling for oil. Justin wouldn't do anything illegal.
Well, I hope you're right. For your sake as well as Justin's, because if you're not, I'm going to run him out of Texas.
Bobby Sue, are you happy with that tenant that moved into that department above your beauty parlor?
So far, so good. Oh, Billy Joe, I'm sorry. If I'd known that Ruby was coming to town.
That's just the problem. Nobody knew, not even me. She just showed up one day.
Maybe it's better that she is staying with you.
What are you talking about?
From everything I've heard before that you've said, I don't think you should rush Nita.
Is it rushing just because you want to move in with your own wife?
Billy Joe, your own wife has asked you for a divorce.
Nita just said that because she was angry at the time, but she didn't mean it.
Has she called a lawyer?
No, not that I know of. That's what makes me think that she's not really serious about it. I got an idea.
What kind of idea?
I'm going to ask Nita to come on over and listen to Johnny Paycheck rehearse. She just loves Johnny Paycheck. And then when she's in the good mood, I'm going to pop her the question.
Mr. Wheeler trusted Justin. Mrs. Wheeler still trusts him.
I know. Iris wants to make him president of the company.
Well, no wonder you feel, so bad about him. You want to believe the worst. I'm sorry. That was unfair.
No, that's perfectly all right, Ashley. I understand what a difficult position you're in working here.
No, there's no excuse, and I apologize.
Look, Ashley, I know you care very much for Justin, but there are people around here who've known him a lot longer than you have. Vicki Bellman. Now, she's believed the worst about Justin. And she says that he's always proved her right. Nobody knows Justin better than Vicki except for Kate Marshall and Rena.
Was it Vicki Bellman that convinced Rena to break off with Justin?
Well, according to Ginny, Justin's the one who walked out on Rena.
Does Rena have feelings for Justin?
Not love.
Well, sometimes I think I'm the only person in the world that does care about Justin.
Except for Kate.
Oh, he's done so much to her lately.
I know, but despite his efforts to take the ranch away from her, I think Kate still loves Justin. And now with the well on the Harper ranch shut down, and with Justin knowing he can't get control of Kate's ranch, I think it might be possible for him to reconcile with her.
I sure hope that happens.
I know it'll take time, but I think Kate's influence would be the best possible thing for Justin. Hey, you know what? That might be something you could work on.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
know Ashley Linden?
Well, about as much as I want to.
You sound like Rena. She disliked that girl from the day she saw her.
Yeah, well, Rena always did have a pretty good judge of character. Listen, you be careful of Miss Linden.
I will. Morning, Deb.
Hi, Kate. Terry, I'm really sorry about Max.
Thanks. Would you like some tea or coffee?
No, I'm gonna have a beer. Is Courtney coming to the funeral?
No, she called this morning. She can't get away. She said she's going to try and get back before Terry has to go to Paris. Where's Lurleen?
Oh, she's out riding now. I let her borrow the chestnut.
Oh, that's fine. Well, there's lots of food if anyone is hungry.
I think I'm gonna have something to eat.
Hello, Grandma. Terry.
I just lost my appetite.
What are you doing here?
Just wanted to find out how you were doing.
Just fine, thanks. So now you can go back to town.
Why don't you go up and clean up your mess at the Harper place?
I didn't cause that damage. Max did. Let Rena clean it up.
No, we'll have none of that. Jen. Get up. Justin. Have you lost every ounce of sympathy and shame?
I stated the truth, Chris.
I've told you for the last time. You are not welcome here.
Hi, Bobby Sue. Okay, Billy Joe, where's this big surprise you're telling me about?
Just hold your horses, all right?
Do you know what's going on here, Bobby Sue?
Is it here yet, Bobby Sue?
Yeah, he is. He just finished doing a number.
All right.
Wait a minute, who's he? Would you please tell me what's happening here?
All right, boys, let's try it again.
Who's that? Who's that?
That is none of.
Hello, Daddy.
Rena?
Ginny told me you'd come by the house.
Well, I just want to be of help.
I know. Thank you. We're early.
It's okay.
The family's supposed to be seated last.
No, it's all right.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. But if you'd prefer, we can wait outside.
No.
I'm right here, sweetheart.
I'm sorry. I have to get some fresh air.
Let's go outside.
Is there anything we can do?
Stryker and Vicky will take care of Rena. Is Ricky here?
Mm-hmm. He's talking to Father Baskin.
Jenny?
Buddy.
Hi, buddy.
Ryan? I'm good.
Right?
I'm sorry I'm so early.
Well, that's okay.
Wanda's coming over with Kate and Terry. I've never been a pallbearer before. I don't know what to do.
Well, the pallbearers are going to be sitting together in the first two pews. And when the service is over, the priest is going to leave first, and we'll follow with the casket. Hey, don't worry. You just follow what the others are doing, all right?
Did you see Kate this morning?
Yeah. Saw Barrett, too.
I'm going to the chapel with Terry. I don't want to see you here when I come back from the funeral.
What's wrong with Grandma? We seem to be able to clear out a room very quickly.
I want to know what you're out here for.
I'd like to talk to you.
We don't have anything to talk about.
Oh, but we do.
You know how I feel about oil. You know how I feel about Max Decker. And you know how I feel about this ranch. What more is there to say?
How do you feel about Ryan Connor running this ranch?
What are you talking about?
Didn't Grandma tell you she sold 10 acres to Ryan and Ginny so they could build a house?
I don't believe it.
Believe it. They're going to build about a half a mile from here, brother.
When did this happen?
While you were recuperating in Colorado. I suppose Ginny and Ryan wanted to make sure you were well out of the way before they went ahead with their plans. So when you get back from Colorado to take over the ranch, you're going to have your hands full. Not only have you lost Ginny and Steve to Ryan, you're in danger of losing the ranch to him, too.
Yesterday's news just hit home today.
Decker is here to hear this. I tell you, really, Johnny, I just want to thank you for all you're doing here.
Oh,
I really
yes,
appreciate it.
Always a pleasure to help someone, a great artist like Rita Decker. Thank you for having me. Hey, guys, I'll see you later tonight.
Hey, yeah, thanks, guys.
Wonderful.
Oh, have you met my wife, Nita?
See you later. Oh, it's nice to meet you, Nita.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Mr. Paycheck.
Mr. Paycheck lives with my mama. John.
Oh, Johnny.
Well, nice to meet you, too.
Oh, pleasure.
Johnny, enjoyed it.
I'll see y'all.
Okay. Okie dokie. Come on.
Oh.
Well, was my surprise everything it was supposed to be, huh?
Billy Joe, I gotta tell you, you're really doing well here at the coop.
Yeah. Everything seems to be going pretty well right now.
Emily, it's so nice for you to have come. I know you love Max as much as we all did. I did. Terry, you remember Mrs. Johnson, don't you?
Hey, Rick. Hi, Ryan. Where am I supposed to sit? Sit up with Jim.
How's Elena doing?
Well, she seems like she's doing pretty well to me.
Did you stay with her last night?
No, she wanted to be alone.
She's been spending a lot of time alone lately.
I guess that's the way she wants it.
Janice going to be able to get through the service?
She'll be all right. She'll just faint for a moment.
Are you all right, honey?
I'm fine, Mama. Thank you.
Did you know that Grandma left her shares of the ranch to Max in her will?
No.
They really have kept you in the dark, haven't they?
I've been away.
Yes. Well, now that Max is dead, guess who is going to get Grandma's shares of the ranch? None other than Ryan Connor.
You're lying.
You can ask her. She's been doing anything she can to turn Ryan into a marshal.
Why?
She thinks I want to turn this place into an oil field.
Aren't you?
Of course not. I just want to drill on 5 acres in the outskirts of the property. It'll produce a healthy revenue for all of us. Retain a special feeling of the ranch. Also retain the martial honor among the cattlemen.
You want it all, don't you?
Why not? It won't only be for me. It's for all of us, Barrett.
You can't do any of this without my help. Or Courtney's.
You're right, but before you say no, let me tell you about the rest of my plans. I'm going to drive Ryan Connor out of Texas.
How do you plan to do that?
With Iris Wheeler's help, I'm going to take over World Oil. I'm going to ruin Ryan Connor professionally. By the time I am through with him, no one in the state will speak to him, much less do business with him. By that time, I think that Ginny will not be interested in marrying him.
You're as confident as someone who's made a pact with the devil.
No, just with my future.
How can you be so sure that all your plans will work out the way you want?
I haven't done badly so far. A few months ago, I was a reporter on a local news station. Now I run the oil production division, one of the biggest companies in the world. That's a pretty good track record.
But your first venture in oil on the Harper property has turned into a disaster.
Well, that might turn out to be not so bad in the long run.
Except for Max.
I'm sincerely sorry about what happened to Max. I am in no way responsible for his death. Wait!
What for?
You sell me your shares of the ranch and you'll have your ranch. Maybe your wife and son. Think it over.
Well, I better get back to Maggie's. See how our son is doing.
Yeah, I guess things must be getting pretty cramped over at Maggie's with you and the baby, huh?
Billy Joe, I know what you're leading up to. But it just can't be. I can't move back in with you.
Nita, you need me. Billy Joe Jr. needs me.
Yeah, I agree. And you can see your son anytime you want to.
Nita.
What?
Nina, Billy Joe Jr. needs his family. He needs his mom and his daddy together. Oh, come on, honey. Say you're gonna move back in with me. Just say it, honey, huh?
I can't. I can't move back in with you. I want you to take me back to Maggie's, okay?
Nita, please.
Oh, shh.
Billy Joe?
I'll be right out there, honey. If Peter Parnell comes in, just tell him I gotta drop Nita over at Maggie's. I'll be right back.
Okay. Billy Joe, how'd your little talk go?
It went all right.
Did Nita say she was going to move back in with you?
She didn't. But I'm not gonna give up. I know I'm right, and I'm not gonna give up.
I wish a service was taking place in the church that Max was baptized in. If we had children, they would have gone to Sunday school there.
I am the resurrection and the life, saith the Lord. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. Though this body be destroyed, yet shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself. Mine eyes shall behold, and not as a stranger. We brought nothing into this world, and it is certain that we carry nothing out. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Let us pray. Remember thy servant, O Lord, according to the favor which thou bearest unto thy people, and grant that, increasing in knowledge and love of thee, he may go from strength to strength in the life of perfect service in thy heavenly kingdom, through Jesus Christ our Lord, who liveth and reigneth with thee and the Holy Ghost ever, one God, world without end. Amen. Unto God's gracious mercy and protection we commit you. The Lord bless and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, both now and evermore.
You destroyed my husband, Justin. You know you're responsible for his death. I will destroy you if it's the last thing I do.
Mrs. Wheeler!
Good morning, Vivian.
I bring your coffee up to you.
I'll have it in the solarium.
Well, good. I'm glad to see you're not going to lock yourself in your room again today.
Vivian? I've been betrayed.
Betrayed? By who?
By my own son.
If you find that's too many tables to handle for lunch, let me know, Richard. Oh, that'll be fine. Thank you. Hi, Dennis.
Paige?
Are you here for lunch?
Yeah, am I too early?
Yeah, a little bit. I can offer you some coffee, though.
Choose any table you like. I'll get a waiter to take you home.
Actually, I was hoping to run into Dad. His secretary said that he'd be here.
Oh, you just missed him. I think he's on his way back to KVIK.
Oh, was he here for a business meeting or something?
No. He was here alone. He just stopped by to have some coffee with me.
Yeah. That's just like we used to do.
Justin, now come on. Wake up. Come on, we're both going to be late for work. Come on.
What are you doing out of bed?
We have to go to work. I have to go. So do you.
I'm not going into work today. Come back to bed. I fall in sick. Come on. Come on.
No, I can't now. I already talked to Ryan Connor this morning. We've got a lot of work to do.
How long have you been awake?
Hours.
You can't sleep?
No. I'm surprised that you can. After what happened at the funeral yesterday.
Rena, she just got a little worked up, that's all.
A little worked up. Ryan Connor said that Vicki Bellman had to call the doctor when they got home to get sedatives to calm her down.
I'm really sorry to hear about that.
Are you going to stay in bed all day?
I think I'll go out to the ranch, have a little talk with Barrett.
Justin, do you really think that Barrett's ever going to sell you those shares to the ranch?
Depends on how badly he wants to get Ginny back.
Never betray you, Mrs. Wheeler. He not only betrayed me, he made a fool of me as well.
I don't believe that either. You know how you tend to exaggerate things. I think this is a misunderstanding.
Oh, there's been no misunderstanding. My own son has made a fool of me, and that's all there is to it.
How?
By tricking me. He promised to support me in removing Ryan from World Oil. If in return I'd let Paige move back into Alex's suite and be rehired at the top of the World Club.
Yes, I know all about that.
But what you don't know is that he didn't hold up his end of the bargain.
You mean
He changed his mind. Once he got what he wanted, he decided not to help me have Ryan ousted as head of the company.
And you need his support, don't you?
Since he owns 1/3 of the stock of World Oil, of course I need his support.
Well, it's not like Dennis to go back on his word.
No. And that's not all, Vivian. I told him that if he didn't hold up his end of the bargain, I'd have that dreadful ex-wife of his fired again.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
I would. Only he didn't seem to care anymore whether Paige lost her job or not.
He didn't care?
No. He suddenly seemed indifferent about the whole thing. It's as though he's playing some sort of diabolical game. I don't know what's happening to him.
Maybe he was just saying that he didn't care whether she lost her job or not. Maybe he didn't mean that.
No. He meant it all right. I know when he's telling the truth.
Well, you said that something's happening to him? Well, what do you think that is?
I don't know yet. It's just a feeling I have.
He's been through a lot lately, Mrs. Wheeler.
I'm aware of that. But I know my son. And the person I talked to night before last is not the boy I raised for 25 years.
Of course not. Dennis isn't a little boy anymore. You've just never faced up to that. He's a grown man now.
It's not that, Vivian. I'm talking about something else.
What?
He's become cold, hardened.
Not Dennis.
And he lied to me.
Dennis lied?
He promised me his help. Oh. He promised me, Vivian.
Mrs. Wheeler, I think this might just be the best thing. If you've gone through with your plans to get Mr. Connor out of World Oil like you'd planned on, you were headed for a lot of trouble. You heard what Mr. Grant Wheeler said.
Well, I don't care what he or anybody else says. And I have every intention of going through with my plans. As far as I'm concerned, what is it? Oh. Good morning, Grant. Does that bother you that Elliot came by to have coffee with me?
No, of course not.
Are you sure? Well, good. I'd certainly understand if it did.
But it didn't. In fact, Paige, I think it's very nice that you and Dad have kept up a friendship like this.
You know, I still can't imagine how you talked Iris into letting me have my job back, but I'm very glad you did.
I think it's going to work out for everyone involved, Paige.
I hope so. One of the things that I want more than anything now, Dennis, is for us to be friends. I know that's asking a lot, considering how much I've done to mess up your life, but I mean, we are talking, right? That's a start, right?
That's a start.
And maybe one of these days, you can learn to trust me just as much as I trust you.
Do you trust me, Paige?
How could I not, Dennis? I mean, at a time when most people would cut me loose, you helped me get my life back together again.
It's just that I've got a lot to make up for, Paige. I mean, I was really rough on you for a while there.
No, but what you did out of hurt and anger. I understand that. I understand you're thinking that I'd slept with Peter and wanting a divorce on the grounds of adultery.
But you said it wasn't true.
It wasn't. But it certainly must have looked like that. I mean, there we were, together in the same suite. You had no idea that we were sleeping in different rooms.
Paige, that's all in the past now. I'm really glad you trust me. It makes things a lot easier.
Well, I'll go get you a waiter.
Oh, Paige, are you and Dad going anywhere tonight?
No, what?
Well, it's just that I'm going to the opening of a new art gallery, and I thought he might want to join me. I mean, if he's not busy or anything.
Oh, I think he mentioned something about coming here for dinner, but I think he assumed you'd join him. I'm sure he'd be happy to go with you. You know, we could probably all have dinner here afterwards if you'd like.
That's an idea.
Well, if you decide on that, give me a call, all right?
I will. That's right, Paige. Trust me. I'm going to help put your life back together in a way you'll never forget.
Justin, I don't think that Jenny is ever going to go back to Barrett.
I don't think so either. But if Barrett thinks there's the slightest chance he could get Ginny back, he won't hesitate. Selling me his shares to the ranch.
Well, that's a pretty nasty thing to do to your own brother, isn't it?
I believe it's for its own good.
So, that makes it all right.
I think so.
Boy, you sure know how to get to people, don't you?
If you really want something, you find a way to get it. Simple as that.
I talked to Mama this morning.
Oh, there's a whole Linden family get up at the crack of dawn.
Only the women.
Well, what did she say?
Well, she wanted to talk about the wedding. She has to make plans.
Did you tell her there's plenty of time?
Well, yeah, I told her that we'd probably get married somewhere around Christmas. What's the matter?
My darling, I know that this sounds corny, but wouldn't it be better if it was Valentine's Day? I mean, there's so many people rushing around at Christmas time. It's so busy.
Justin, Valentine's Day isn't until February.
Don't you think it would be kind of sweet to get married Valentine's Day?
You know what I think?
Huh?
I think you're having second thoughts about marrying me.
Oh, no, of course not.
Well, I mean, you keep postponing the wedding, Justin. What else can I think?
Actually, there's a very good reason for us to wait.
What?
I want us to have a place to live in before we get married.
What's wrong with this place? This place is fine to me.
I'm talking about the ranch. Let's just concentrate on getting that first. Then we'll make our plans, okay?
Would you mind leaving Mrs. Wheeler and me alone for a few minutes?
I guess that'd be okay. I'm running a little late myself anyway.
Iris, was I the reason that you refused to come downstairs yesterday?
No, you weren't.
Are you being entirely honest about that?
Yes, I am. For the most part.
Oh, so I did have something. I know that you were terribly upset with me after our little talk the other day.
Yes. But not half as upset as I was after my talk with Dennis.
Why? What happened?
He went back on his word to me.
Then he's not going to support you at the board meeting next week.
No, he isn't.
Oh, I hope this means that you're going to give up this foolish notion of trying to remove Ryan from World Oil.
It is not a foolish notion, and I'm not giving up for an instant.
Iris, you're dead wrong in suggesting he had anything to do with Alex's death.
I am not merely suggesting that.
Where is your factual evidence?
My feelings are stronger than any factual evidence could possibly be. Ryan was the last person to see Alex alive, and I know deep down that he had something to do with it.
I just don't understand you.
Perhaps you shouldn't try.
I won't. Obviously, there's nothing that I can say.
No, there isn't.
Well, I think it might be a wise idea for Lacey and me to find another place to stay.
Why?
I think that's fairly obvious.
This has nothing to do with you, Grant. It only concerns Dennis and Ryan and me, and the real fight is over the control of World Oil.
Well, I don't see it that way. Aside from the fact that my brother owned World Oil, I'm afraid that I am a part of this. Ryan is my nephew. And since you know how I feel about what you're doing, I can't imagine you're wanting me in this house.
You feel that way only because you refuse to see Ryan for what he really is, and I don't blame you. He's a smooth operator. He has a number of people fooled. Poor Alex was only one of them.
Iris.
Please. Please don't go. You and Dennis are all I have left of Alex. And I need some semblance of family now that he's gone.
Ryan is a part of that family.
No. He killed Alex. He killed my husband.
I hope you're not planning to put me to snap with it on any horse I'm going to ride.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Yes, I will. Goodbye.
Who's that?
Vicky. I called to check on Rena. Vicky says she's just terrible. She sleeps a little, and then she wakes up screaming with nightmares.
Well, I'm not very fond of Rena, but I am sorry to hear that.
I could wring Justin's neck for showing up yesterday at that funeral.
I don't think you can blame Justin for Rena's condition.
Justin is to blame. Rena's the only one that had the gumption to come right out and say so.
Do you believe that Just was really slant drilling?
Well, I think that Bubba Wadsworth was. Justin just went along with it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's just as bad as if it had been his idea.
But if Just didn't know about it...
I think he did know. I've never known you to give Justin the benefit of the doubt.
I'm only trying to be objective about the whole thing.
Since when have you learned to be objective about drilling for oil?
You forget I talk to a shrink 3 times a week. That sort of puts things in perspective.
When do you plan to come back to Texas?
I don't know, Grandma. It depends on a lot of things.
No, I think that doctor you're seeing is helping you.
I think so, too. I see things more clearly now. And I've stopped having nightmares.
That's wonderful, Barry.
Hasn't been easy, but I'm doing my best.
Well, what about Ginny? Do you understand what happened?
I see it all very clearly now.
You still love her, don't you?
More than ever. Dennis, hello.
Oh,
Don't get up. Don't get up.
It's nice to see you.
Well, it's nice to see you. Hi. May I join you for a few moments?
Yeah, certainly.
Thank you. Well, I see that you're having a rather late breakfast.
I think you're having a rather early lunch.
Touche. As a matter of fact, I am a little early. I've got a business appointment in about a half an hour, but the drive in was so fast, and I was going to wait outside, and Paige told me you were in here.
Well, join me for some coffee, then.
Yes, waiter. Coffee.
So, what kind of a business meeting brings you here? Something to do with buying a horse farm?
Oh, no. Nothing quite so close to my heart, no. I'm meeting a prospective buyer of a little bank I own up in San Antonio.
Bank? I never realized you were in the banking business. My mother certainly never mentioned
Well, no,
anything.
I never talked about it. As a matter of fact, I've been spending my time on more important matters, namely my family.
And raising horses.
And raising horses. For the most part, I leave the running of the bank to other people.
Well, the Wheelers seem to be very good at making money.
Yeah, we seem to be. Dennis, I'm sorry that we haven't had a chance to talk since your father died.
You mean Alex? Look, it's still difficult for me to think of him as my father. I mean, I only found out a couple of days before he died.
Of course. I understand. And that's probably why it hasn't hit you as hard as it has your mother.
Yeah, she's still pretty upset.
Possibly more than you realize.
What do you mean?
Dennis, she's been doing some things lately that I consider to be irrational.
I assume you're referring to her attempt to take control of World Oil away from Ryan Connor.
That's exactly what I mean. And she's going about it in a highly irregular way.
That's my mother, all right. She does everything in a highly irregular way. My advice to you is just get used to it.
Lacey, how you been doing?
Fine.
You know, I didn't think I'd see you again after the barn dance the other night.
Sorry about the way I took off, Jim.
Oh, it's all right. I just felt a little bit like the prince, you know, after Cinderella left the ball.
Sorry to hear about Max Decker.
Well, Max was a great guy.
We met him a couple of times when I came out here to go horseback riding. Dad got to know him a little bit. Times he talked to him about buying a horse farm. He liked him a lot.
Everybody liked Max. How is your father doing?
He's fine, too.
You gonna tell me about what happened that night, or are you just gonna keep me in suspense?
Dad's just a little overprotective sometimes. That's all.
Oh, that's all it is. I thought it was something personal or something.
Personal?
Well, you know, I thought maybe he had something against me, didn't like me or something like that.
It has nothing to do with you. He doesn't even know you. He not like you.
Oh, it's just a feeling I got. You know, he wasn't too crazy about, me driving you home that night.
It has nothing to do with you.
Good. That means that if I was to ask you out again, you wouldn't have any objections?
No, wouldn't.
Want to go out tonight?
Justin Marshall's office?
Ashley, it's Iris Wheeler.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Wheeler.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Is Justin there?
No, he's out at the Marshall Ranch. Won't be back until later. Could I take a message?
Yes, please. I need to see him as soon as possible, Ashley.
Oh. Hello, Jess. Hello, Barry. How you doing?
I'm fine. Have a seat.
Thank you. Have you given any thought to my offer?
That's all I've been thinking about. Since yesterday.
Oh. Didn't Ginny look beautiful at the funeral yesterday?
Ginny always looks beautiful.
You want her back, Barry?
Yes, I do.
How much?
Enough to sell my share of the ranch.
You won't regret it, Barry. I brought this agreement along with me today in case you decided to sign.
You already had it drawn up?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's very direct, to the point. It's all there in black and white.
Sure don't waste any time. Dennis, I'm not persuaded that you're really aware of what your mother's been doing.
That may very well be. But there's nothing you can tell me about my mother that would surprise me. Nothing you can tell me short of telling me that she actually killed Alex Wheeler.
Dennis, are you aware of the fact that she's got it fixed in her head that Ryan is responsible for Alex's death? And went so far as to even try to get him arrested.
I didn't know that. But you've got to understand, my mother gets on these kicks.
Well, she actually went to the police.
And what did they say?
Well, the same thing I did. They said there's no evidence to support a charge of murder against your cousin.
But once that woman sets her mind on something, there's no stopping her. That's something you're going to have to get used to.
Dennis, I don't understand why you're not more upset about what I'm telling you.
Listen, I got upset the first time she tried something like this. And the second, and the third. But after a while, well, I think you get the picture.
Dennis, Iris also told me that you agreed to support her efforts to unseat Ryan. Is that true?
That's what I told her.
Well, what changed your mind?
I didn't change my mind.
What did your mother
Look,
tell
I
us
had
what?
no intention of backing her in the first place. I just told her that in order to get her to do something for me. Look, it's been nice talking with you, but I've got to get back to work. I think we should do this again sometime.
Sure.
I mean, you are my uncle. I'd like to get to know you better. I'll look forward to seeing you again sometime. Take it easy, Grant.
I'd like to get to know a little bit more about you, too, Dan.
I can't make it tonight, Jeff. I'm sorry.
What about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night would be great.
Okay, swell. I'll tell you what. I'll call you tomorrow and we'll figure out what we're going to do.
Why don't we settle that now?
Well, okay, we can do that. Let's see, you want to go to the Coop? I mean, I know you like that place a lot.
Sounds great.
Okay, swell. What time? What time should I pick you up?
About 8?
About 8. Okay, I'll see you at 8 at your place.
I have another idea. Why don't I just meet you there?
Meet me there?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, Lacey, wait a minute. Now, you know, when a guy takes out a girl, he picks her up and then he takes her home at the end of the night. You know, that's the way I do things.
Well, the problem is that I'm going shopping all afternoon, and it'd be more convenient for me to meet you there.
Shopping, huh? That's kind of a late shopping spree you're going on.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, take it easy. All right, whatever you say. All right?
Isn't it settled?
Yeah. Of course, I won't be able to drive you home.
Well, I have another idea. Since I'm going to be out and about all day anyway, why don't I just come out here and pick you up?
Pick me up. No, listen, I got to tell you something now. I'm not going to be chauffeured around by my date.
It's a little old-fashioned, don't you think?
Well, we're all old-fashioned here, you know. Who isn't?
Well, old-fashioned, Jeb Hampton. Why don't you help a lady saddle up her horse, huh?
My pleasure, ma'am.
Hey, but you can leave that Snapple bit right here.
Well, here you are. And this is for you.
Would you do me a favor and deposit this in my account in Houston?
Oh, you bet.
It'd save me a trip into town.
Consider it done. This is for your joint account with Grandma.
Yes. I want the money available to her if she needs it for anything.
That's very thoughtful of you, Barrett, but I doubt whether Grandma will even touch this when she knows it came from me.
In time, she'll accept what I've done.
You think so?
You're going to drill on a 5-acre parcel that's nowhere near the house.
That's right.
So it won't be like having a rig in the front yard. You better not double-cross me, Jess.
I have no intention of doing that, Barrett. You're the real winner here. You make money with the oil and you get Ginny back.
If you get rid of Ryan Connor.
Oh, I'll get rid of him. He's in my way as much as he's in your way.
You still haven't explained to me just what you have in mind for him.
I'm working on it. Don't you worry about it.
How long will it take?
Well, it can't happen overnight. Don't expect miracles, Barrett.
You get moving before he and Ginny set a wedding date.
He'll be wiped out before he even exchanges his wedding vows.
All right. I'll leave it to you. Oh, that's one other thing. I want to tell Grandma about this. I don't want you telling her that I sold my share of the ranch to you.
Okay. Brother, we've got a deal.
Now, what can I do for you? I was just thinking about our little conversation the other night. You said that we had something in common.
You mean about getting even with Paige?
That's right. I'd like to hear what your plan is.
Hello, Ashley.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Wheeler. Thank you for asking me to have lunch.
Well, since I decided to come downtown and wait for Justin, I thought I might as well have lunch with you. I always enjoy that so much.
So do I.
You definitely expect Justin back in his office after lunch?
Yeah. I called him out at the Marshall Ranch. He said he'd get back as soon as possible just for you.
That's very considerate of him.
Miss Wheeler, how's Rena? Have you seen her?
No. But I talked to Vicky this morning. She's quite distraught.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I know what it's like to lose your husband.
I know you do. I'm so sorry. You've had so many difficulties in the past few weeks.
I'll be all right. Now, tell me about your wedding plans.
Well, we don't have any yet.
Don't tell me it's your Aunt Hildy. Is she holding things up because of some silly trip she wants to take?
No. Justin's holding them up.
Justin?
Mrs. Wheeler, I don't think that, Justin wants to marry me now.
Barry?
Hello, Grandma.
I'm surprised to see you here. After what happened yesterday, Justin, how could you possibly dare to show up at that funeral?
I'm sorry, Grandma, about what happened at the funeral. I'm sure after Raina gets some sleep, she's going to feel better.
Get out of here.
I'm looking at the books here.
Justin?
At the moment, I'm bringing myself up to date about the financial status of the ranch.
That's no business of yours.
Oh, I think it is my business.
Get out. Right this minute, Justin.
I'm not leaving till I'm ready. This is my home now.
Owning 40% of the ranch does not make it your home.
I own 60% now, Grandma. Didn't Barry tell you? He just sold his share of the ranch to me.
I don't have a plan, Dennis.
You said something about our joining forces.
Yeah, I have a vague recollection.
You also said you knew something about Paige, about her past.
Yes, I know quite a bit about your, ex-wife. Paige and I lived together back in our Hollywood days.
You told me the porno film was only the beginning.
Did I say that? Well, I may have had a little bit too much to drink.
No, I don't think so. Unless, of course, you've changed your mind.
About what?
About getting back at Paige.
Oh, I never said anything about getting back.
Well, then what's this all about?
Well, I didn't say anything about it, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't like to. But I'd like to hear your side of the story first.
You already know my side of the story.
Do I? For instance, I'd like to know why you arranged for Paige to get her old job back at the Top of the World Club.
Knowing how I feel about Paige, you find that odd?
Yes, I do. Especially since it must have taken some doing to get your dear mother to come around. I've met the lady. What is it Paige calls her? The Iron Butterfly?
Why do you think I did it?
Well, my guess is that you're setting Paige up for something, and you decide you'd better put up a front, a kind of a smoke screen.
Since you seem to know so much about what I'm doing, what do you think it is I'm setting Paige up for?
Now, there's the question. If I knew the answer to that...
What have you got against Paige, Parnell?
How do I know I can trust you with what I have to say? How do I know that you're not setting me up as well?
You don't? Any more than I know you're not setting me up. But just remember one thing. You came to me first.
That's true.
All right, then. Let's move on. Paige told me that the two of you didn't sleep together after she left me.
We didn't.
Well, if she thinks that I'm going to think of her as little Miss Purity, she's in for a rude awakening.
Remember when you came by our table the other night when we were having dinner at the Top of the World Club? You called Paige a tramp? Well, a stronger word would have been more appropriate. Paige and I had quite a thing going back in Hollywood. Worked out quite well, at least from my point of view.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying that Paige would do practically anything I told her to do. And that included buttering up producers with whom I was trying to work out a deal. And Paige would sort of get the ball rolling, if you know what I mean.
So what you're telling me is you set her up with producers?
As I said, she'd do practically anything I asked. And she got to be very good at it.
I'd like to meet one of these men.
We will order shortly. Thank you. I'll take it.
Oh, forgive me. I don't mean to embarrass you.
I'm not embarrassed, darling.
I'm sorry. I make such a fool out of myself.
We can go to my house if you like.
No, I'll be all right. Thank you.
I think it would help to talk about your problem, but if you'd rather wait until another time.
No, I can talk about it now.
What makes you think Justin doesn't want to marry you?
He started hedging on the wedding date. I mean, when he first gave me my engagement ring, he was so anxious to set the date as soon as possible. And then Max Decker died.
Justin and Max grew up together. I know they had their differences, but he must be terribly upset over Max's death.
Oh, no, it's not Max. It's Rena.
Darling, will you please forget about Rena?
Well, see, the problem is that I don't think Justin can forget about Rena.
He gave you an engagement ring.
I think that the only reason that Justin even asked me to marry him is because he thinks he doesn't have a chance with Rena. See, now Max is gone.
Rena loathes Justin.
Maybe she does now. But Justin can be a very determined person, you know. And if he thinks he has the slightest chance with Rena,
he doesn't. And no one should know that better than Justin. Now stop blowing this all out of proportion.
I don't think I'm blowing it out of proportion. I mean, first he said we'd get married in September. And then he changes it to Christmas. Now he's talking about Valentine's Day. I know it's Rena.
Stop worrying about Rena. Concentrate on making Justin happy. And I'll do whatever I can to help things along.
What can you do?
At the moment, I have no idea. But I'm sure I'll think of something. I want you to be happy, Ashley. And if marriage to Justin will make you happy, then that's what you shall have.
Oh, Grandma, I was looking for you earlier. I want to talk to you.
Justin has already talked to me.
I'm sorry.
I thought you would at least have the decency to tell me yourself.
I wanted to. Justin promised me that he'd let me talk to you first.
You should know by now that you can't believe a word Justin says. He'll promise anything to get what he wants. What did he promise you, Barrett? It must have been something special to make you sell your share of the ranch.
He said he'd help me get Ginny back.
Ginny is going to marry Ryan Connor. I thought you'd accepted that.
And what I can't accept is your turning over the ranch to him.
He's a far better man than your brother. I'd certainly rather have Ryan in control of the ranch. Do you know what Justin plans to do with this land? Turn it into an oil field.
No, he is not going to turn the whole ranch into an oil field. Just 5 acres. That's all he plans to drill on.
That's another promise he won't keep.
I'll make him keep it.
How? When Justin starts making money, he'll make it any way he can. And you know what that means? More drilling. He'll never have enough.
We made a deal, Grandma.
Yes, and he'll keep it just as long as it suits his purpose. And then when it doesn't, he'll do exactly as he pleases.
I don't believe that.
Well, he's already proved it by telling me about your deal. Oh, Barry, how is Justin going to get Ginny back to you? Is he going to lock her in the cellar until she agrees to marry you?
That's uncalled for, Grandma.
I never realized how deep and destructive your hatred of Ryan is.
He took Ginny from me.
Ginny left you because you made it impossible for her to live with you. Now that's your doing, not Ryan's.
You're wrong, Grandma.
You have given away my whole life to Justin. You have given away your son's future. And you'll have nothing to show for it, Barry. Nothing.
I'll have my family. My wife and my son.
You have destroyed your family. I was the only one you had left. And now, you don't even have me.
I'm terribly sorry to have kept you waiting, Iris. If I'd known earlier that you wanted to see me, I would have changed my plans.
Oh, there's no need to apologize.
Now, what is it you wanted to talk to me about? Ashley told me it was urgent.
I need your help with something I'm sure you'd like to support me on.
What is that?
I asked Dennis to help me vote Ryan out of office. He agreed. Then, for some reason, changed his mind. I could ask the board of directors to oust Ryan, but I doubt that I'd be successful.
I see. Let's see. Who's on the board besides you and Dennis? There's Ryan.
Starker Bellman. And that treasurer person, a man whose name I can never remember.
Holbrook.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure you could bring him around, Iris.
But not the others, Justin. Do you have any ideas?
Well, there's not much I can do unless I'm on the board.
Well, how do you get appointed to the board? By the stockholders, isn't that right? Well, Since World Oil is a privately held company, Dennis and Ryan and I are the only stockholders.
So, obviously, the man we have to get to is Dennis. Is he opposed to me, or just the idea of Ryan being dumped?
I think his opposition is to Ryan's being ousted. I don't know how he feels about you.
Then find out.
All right.
Maybe you can convince him I'm not such a bad guy after all.
You're not, are you?
No, certainly not.
Well, I will have another talk with my son.
And I look into some other alternatives. Very nice seeing you again, Iris.
Thank you, Dustin. Dennis?
Oh, hi, Mom. If you're looking for Dad, he's not here right
Oh, I saw Elliot in the newsroom. He told me you were here in his office.
now. Must be very important. I mean, it's not like you to be up and around before noon. What's in your mind?
Justin Marshall.
What about him?
I want Justin on the board of directors of World Oil, and I'd like your help.
Honey?
Hi, Mama.
I thought you were still sleeping. Do you still have a headache?
Oh, it's not so bad now. Has Daddy gone to the office already?
He left hours ago.
Where's Jimmy?
Kate called and she went out to the ranch to see her. Come on, I'll have breakfast with you.
I'm not hungry.
Honey, you have to eat something.
Mama, did Jenny tell me that she drove my car in yesterday?
Yes, she did.
Well, do you know where she put the keys? I'd like to drive out to the cabin.
Why don't we have breakfast first and then I'll drive you out?
I can drive.
Honey, you've been sedated for 2 days. You've had nothing to eat except tea and toast.
Mama, did I scream at Justin at the funeral yesterday? Or did I dream that? It wasn't a dream, was it?
No.
You and Daddy must have been so embarrassed.
No. We understood how upset you were.
Well, I'll tell you something. I meant every word I said to Justin. He did kill Max, and I'm going to destroy him for that. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to find a way.
Kate, why didn't you call me yesterday and tell me that Barrett had sold out to Justin?
I couldn't. At first, I didn't believe it. Then,
I should have been here with you.
oh no, Rena needed you. I'm fine.
Did Barrett give you any explanation?
Yes.
Kate, why did Barrett sell out to Justin?
Because Justin somehow convinced him that he could get you back.
Oh, my Lord.
Justin also told him that he was going to drill on only 5 acres of land.
Where is he?
No. He's upstairs packing. He's going to leave.
Before we've talked.
Jenny, don't. Now, don't have an argument with him. It's not worth it.
This won't take long.
Hello, Jenny.
Have you finished packing, Barrett?
No, as a matter of fact, Grandma, I've decided I'm not leaving.
So, how is it you'd like me to help you?
The stockholders vote the appointments to the board, and you're a stockholder.
Yes, along with you and Ryan.
Yes.
So let's see, if I vote along with you, then Justin gets on the board, is that it?
Yes.
Look, if this is another one of your little attempts to oust Ryan, I'm not going to help you with it.
No, it's not. I'm concerned about Alex's wishes being fulfilled.
Alex's wishes? What wishes?
He wanted to expand the company to include oil production.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Ryan opposes the expansion, and without Justin's voice on the board, Alex's wishes will be dismissed.
Justin's in charge of a whole division. I'd say that's a pretty big voice.
Not nearly big enough. That will come only with board membership. Production will not be given the priority it deserves unless Justin is involved. Ryan's ill feelings toward him color his objectivity.
And what about Justin's ill feelings toward Ryan?
Oh, I admit, there is no love lost on either side. But if it worries you, go talk to Justin. See for yourself how genuinely concerned he is for the welfare of this company. He doesn't allow his personal feelings to interfere with business.
Well, I have to tell you this. I don't think Ryan does either.
Well, then, there will be no reason to oppose Justin's appointment. Ryan will judge him only on merit, and the decision will be unanimous.
I take it you haven't discussed this with Ryan yet.
I wanted to talk to you first.
Which means you don't have to talk to Ryan at all because you have my vote and we'll just zap him at next week's meeting, doesn't it?
Dennis, you are Alex's son. I consider your opinion more important. Will you support Justin?
If Ryan supports Justin, then I'll support Justin.
Rena, you have to forget about Justin.
Well, I can't.
You have to try.
He did kill Max, and I'm going to make him pay for that.
Honey, I understand your anger, but it's only self-defeating. There is no way you can win against Justin.
Well, I'm sure gonna try.
You're only going to make yourself miserable. Can't you see that? Sweetheart, why don't you go upstairs and lie down?
I woke up this morning, and I reached over to wake up Max. I miss him an awful lot. It hurts an awful lot, Mama.
I know. I miss him too.
I'm a little confused. Did I go to the cemetery yesterday after the service?
No, you didn't. Ryan and I brought you home.
I should have gone.
It's all right, honey.
You didn't leave me, did you?
Not for long.
Why did I waste all those years being angry with you?
Oh, it's all in the past, honey.
You're not going to believe this, but Max convinced me to make up to you. It's one of the nicest gifts he ever gave me.
It's the nicest gift he ever gave me.
Oh, Mom, I don't know how I'm going to live without him.
Oh, no, honey. You just have to take one day at a time.
That's exactly what I said to Iris. When Alex died, she didn't believe it either.
She seems to be adjusting fairly well now.
I wonder if maybe Iris is stronger than I am.
Oh, no, I doubt that. Your father and I will help you. You have Ginny and Ryan and Kate.
I know one thing I gotta stop doing. Stop feeling sorry for myself.
Honey, wouldn't you rather have some tea?
No, I want to have this. It'll settle my stomach. Those sedatives that Evan gave me, I don't know, but I just don't feel too well.
Rena, why didn't you tell me?
It only started this morning.
I'm calling Evan.
No, Mama, please don't.
All right. Will you please eat something and lie down for a while?
I want to go out to the cabin alone.
Sweetheart, I don't think you should.
Mama, believe me, I'll be all right. I will.
You're not welcome here, Barrett.
This is my home. Our home.
According to Kate, this is Justin's home now.
I don't think Just will mind if his brother lives here, runs the ranch for him.
All those oil rigs out there, there's hardly room for cattle or horses.
This whole spread, that's 5 acres, plenty of room for the stock.
You're really crazy if you believe that Justin will drill on only 5 acres. It's even crazier than thinking that I'd remarry you.
Oh, Ginny.
Don't you touch me, Ginny!
Why don't you go upstairs and lie down for a while, Grandma?
Don't you treat me like a tired old woman, Barrett.
Kate, this is my battle. Let me fight it.
You've become quite the liberated woman, haven't you?
How could you do this to Kate, Barrett? How could you destroy her like that?
Grandma's not destroyed, Ginny.
She lost Max, who she loved more than anyone in the world. And now she lost her home. You gave it away. You just gave it away. Why didn't you take out a rifle and shoot her?
You're overreacting, as usual.
You used to like this ranch just as much as Kate does.
I still do.
Barrett, when Justin first started talking about drilling for oil out here, you were ready to kill him. Now you've sold out to him. You've given him exactly what he always wanted.
Ginny, we can't close our eyes to progress.
What about Kate? She's lived here for almost 50 years.
Grandma is going to be all right once she gets over Max's death.
I thought that you were worth saving. But I was wrong. Hey, Asha.
Hello.
I have a memo for you from Mr. Connor.
What does it say?
Well, read it.
Oh, does it concern me?
Not directly.
I'll read it later.
What are you doing? What is this? Well, this is the Marshall Ranch.
Every acre of it.
Well, what are all these little red circles? Prospective oil wells?
Right again.
Listen, Justin, your brother is going to have a fit when he finds out about this.
Probably.
No, I know he will. I mean, you promised him that you would only drill on 5 acres.
Yeah, I know I told him that. But now that I have the agreement, it doesn't matter what he thinks.
Just imagine what your grandmother's going to think.
She will adjust to it sooner or later, Ashley.
Justin, she's an older person. It takes older people a little longer to adjust to change.
Grandma has more energy and vitality than anybody I know, at any age.
I really think that this latest development is probably going to wipe a little of that vitality away.
She's all right. Don't worry about it.
When do you plan to start drilling on this?
I don't know. First I have to go get a loan from Mr. Walton at the bank.
You're not going to lease the rights to World Oil and let them pay for the drilling?
I am going to lease only 5 acres. I'm keeping the rest of these little circles for me, Ashley.
Justin, you can't do that. You work for World Oil. That's a conflict of interest.
I'm not going to be with the company forever. I'll gain control, then I'll stay on for a while, and then I'll form my own company. Marshall Oil. It sounds terrific, doesn't it?
Yes, sure it does.
Right now I have to go to see Mr. Walt at the bank. My good friend Max Decker blew up my well, so I'm a little short of funds right now.
Well, hey, sweetheart, you know, you can borrow money from me.
Oh, I'd rather borrow it from the bank, darling.
Well, hey, wait a minute. I've got a real good idea on how you can cut down on some expenses.
What's that?
Well, you could move in with me. Now, really, it's silly to pay rent on 2 apartments, right? We spend so much time together. What do you think?
Ryan, where is Ashley? There's some girl named Becky sitting at her desk.
Oh, Becky's covering for her while Ashley's delivering some memos.
Oh. I appreciate your seeing me on such short notice.
Now, you know you don't have to give me notice, Iris. Whenever you want to talk to me, I'll make the time, all right?
Have you seen Rena since the funeral?
No, Ginny's staying at the Bellmans with her. Rena's in pretty bad shape.
I've wanted to stop by, but we quarreled recently, and I don't want to upset her more.
You quarreled about me, didn't you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we did. Rena's become quite loyal to you.
I'm sorry, Iris. I'm genuinely sorry to have come between you and Rena.
Oh, don't waste the emotion, Ryan. Rena and I are very good friends. We'll resolve our differences eventually.
And what about us? Will we resolve our differences eventually?
I'd like to, Ryan.
I mean, as long as you feel I'm responsible for Alex's death, as long as you're not satisfied with me in his chair.
I've been giving that a great deal of thought. Perhaps I've been unfair. I may have underestimated your ability to run this company.
Alex had confidence in me, Iris.
I want the company to continue to flourish. to fulfill Alex's dreams and visions,
Well, so do I.
including the production division.
That's still in the development stage.
You have no plans to close out the operation, do you?
No, not at the moment.
And you're open to building it, even changing the entire focus of the company, if it meets the expectations that some of us have for it.
I'm always open, Iris.
Fine. Then you shouldn't object to Justin Marshall's being appointed to the board.
You've been around your friend Rena too long. You're beginning to sound just like her.
That's no excuse for betrayal, Barrett.
What are you talking about?
You were in the military. You know all about protecting your men at all costs.
I did protect my men.
But you betrayed your family! You gave away your grandmother's past and your son's future. How are you going to explain that to Stephen? Tell me, how can I ask him to be proud of his father now? Tell me, I want to know.
Our son's future is right here. Right here on the ranch.
Surrounded by oil rigs? That's not exactly what I had in mind for him. And neither did you, until yesterday.
Anything's better than Ryan Connor controlling this ranch.
Ryan doesn't want control of the ranch.
The hell he does it. He wants anything that belongs to me.
There is no point in talking to you.
You just don't want to face the truth.
You're the one who doesn't want to face the truth.
Justin told me
Justin
that...
lied to everyone in Texas. He wanted your shares and he lied to you too.
Justin's going to destroy Ryan. He's going to run him out of the state. By the time he's finished, you won't want anything to do with Ryan.
If you really believe that, you really are sick. If that's why you sold out to Justin, you really got taken.
It's going to happen, Jenny. Just will destroy him.
Now you listen to me. I love Ryan, and I'm going to marry him. Hopefully I'll have his children. Nothing can change that.
Justin will change it.
No! And if you ever want to see your son again, you will get on the phone and call Justin now and call that deal off.
Well, hey, what's wrong, sweetheart?
Nothing.
Don't you want to move in with me?
Darling, for all intents and purposes, I have.
So what's the problem?
We don't have to worry about money. I have enough for both of us.
Well, then why are you going to the bank to see Walton?
I'm going to borrow money for business interests. I mean, I'm talking about $1 million. You're talking about a couple thousand.
All right, but I still think that it's silly to have 2 apartments. I mean, for all intents and purposes, your apartment's just a big walk-in closet.
Well, one of the nice things about being rich, you can afford lots of closet space.
Justin, why don't you want to move in with me?
I'm lazy. Listen, we'll be married, moved into the ranch before long. I don't want to pack up and move twice, darling, that's all.
Why do you want Justin on the board of directors, Iris?
I think he deserves the honor.
Deserves it? What do you mean,
Yes.
deserves it?
And I think Alex would have wanted that too.
No, I'll tell you what Alex wanted most, Iris. He wanted to run a legal, ethical, honest business. Now, he ran this company that way for 25 years without resorting to shady deals. People trusted Alex, Iris.
And you don't trust Justin?
Justin's given me every reason not to.
Oh, you mean Max Decker's accusation that he was slant drilling.
Max found evidence to prove it, Iris. Only it was taken away from him at gunpoint by Bubba Wadsworth.
You're assuming Max was telling the truth.
That's right, I am.
But you have no evidence.
I have Max Decker's word. That's good enough for me.
Not for me. Max was a rancher. He hated the idea of oil wells on his land, or anywhere near his land. And I think he was filled with too much rage to see clearly. You can hardly call blowing up an oil well the act of a rational man.
I'm not condoning Max's actions, Iris. And I'm perfectly willing to give Justin a chance to run an honest operation. But I'm going to watch him very carefully. And if he proves himself, I will consider him for the board, but I'm not ready to do that right now.
Ryan, you're allowing your personal feelings
If
to...
I allowed my personal feelings to dictate my decisions, I would have told everybody in Houston what I think of Justin Marshall. But that would be the worst possible thing for this company, and this company is my major concern. Now, if Justin makes one false move that's going to hurt this company, he's out.
I can question your motives at the board meeting.
You know what? I've tried very hard to keep this matter private. But if you want this whole thing aired in public, you just bring it up at the board meeting. It's all up to you now, Iris, isn't it?
Marshall Ranch survey.
Hello, Barry.
What the hell does this mean, Justin?
It's a geological survey.
Are these red circles that you've drawn so beautifully all over the place?
They indicate possible pools of oil.
You told me you were going to drill on 5 acres only.
Did I?
You're not going to get away with this, Jess.
Years from now, our sons and daughters will be having a barn dance just like we are right here tonight.
I'd like that.
Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be.
Best is not yet to be. Best is over, Max. It's all over.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Did you get any sleep?
Yes, a little.
Would you like some tea?
Yes. Where's Barrett?
I don't know. He just took off in the car.
I heard your argument.
Everyone in Marshall County probably heard the argument.
You know, you can't come back here to live if Barrett stays.
I don't think he's going to stay.
I hope you're right.
I'm going to call Elliot Carrington.
Elliot?
He seems to be the only one who has enough influence over Barrett.
Except Justin.
Well, maybe Elliot will be able to help him.
You know, Barrett wants to spend some time with Steve.
No. Steve is not going to see Barrett in the mood that Barrett's in right now.
Well, but he'll be back from camp tomorrow.
I know. If Barrett isn't gone by then, I'll just take him right over to the Bellman's house.
Oh, poor little fellow. He's coming back to so much sadness.
Well, we'll help him deal with it.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to deal with Justin.
We'll find a way, Kate.
I don't think he's going to let you and Ryan build on this land.
Ryan will have to handle that, okay?
Okay. I think I'll go talk to Guy about the yearlings. Do you want to come?
No, I'm going to take Songbird out for a ride. Hello, Marshall Ranch.
Hello, Ginny. This is Vicky.
Vicky, what's wrong?
Rena insisted on going out to the cabin alone. She should be there by now.
Well, I'll go check on her.
And thank you. And when you get a chance...
I'll call you.
Calm down, Barry. Getting excited isn't good for anyone, especially you.
We made a deal, Just.
I know that.
But you're not keeping your part of the deal.
Sometimes circumstances change.
You had every intention of turning the ranch into an oil field, didn't you?
If things happened that way, but this is my land now.
What about your promise to get rid of Ryan?
I plan to keep that promise.
Because it's advantageous to you?
That's right. I'm going after Connor, whether I get control of the ranch or not.
So you really conned me, didn't you?
Yesterday you were willing to do anything to get Ginny back? Have you seen her, Barry?
Yes.
I gather the meeting wasn't too pleasant. Well, you can't expect her to fall right into your arms.
I want to cancel our deal.
It's too late for that.
I give you the right to drill on 20 acres.
I have the right to drill anywhere I want to, Barry. I'm not going to give that up. Go back to Colorado, Barry. I'll call you. I'll keep you posted.
I'm staying in Houston.
Ginny must have been furious at you for what you did to Grandma, Stevie. Wise up, Barry. If you stay in Houston, you won't have a chance of getting Ginny back.
Rena? Hi. How'd you know I was here? I saw your car drive up the road. Max and I were going to have a private celebration after the barn dance.
Yes, I remember.
Want some? No. Why don't you save it? There's nothing to save it for, Ginny.
I'm sorry, honey.
Back in town, I had all these plans about coming out here and living in the cabin, taking care of the horses and cows. I don't think I can do it, Ginny. Not without Max.
It's just too soon, Rena.
I think I'm better off staying with Mom and Daddy, don't you think?
For now, I think it's the best thing.
Yeah. I'll give the stock to Kate and... Oh. It's so unfair.
I know. I felt the same way after I lost the baby, remember?
Yeah.
Kate told me that the sorrow of it will never go away completely. That it'll become part of the fabric of your life. It's a terrible thing, but you must go on living.
I don't know if I want to go on living without Max.
You have to. You have to go on with your life, you'll see.
It's so hard to believe now.
I had trouble believing it too, but it's true in time.
And in the meantime, Ginny?
You just have to hold on.
I'm gonna try.
You know I'll help you.
Thank you. How's Kate?
Terrible.
Oh, how she loved Max.
Yes, she did. But there's something else. Barrett has sold his share of the ranch to Justin.
Why?
Apparently, Justin made him all sorts of promises.
Justin won't be able to keep promises. Not even one of them.
Ashley. Darling, are you ill?
No.
What's wrong?
It's Justin.
Did you have an argument?
No. If we could argue, then I could deal with that because, I could argue back. I could do something.
You feel like telling me what upset you so?
I asked him to move in with me. I mean, we're engaged. We're going to live together. We spend most of our time together anyway. I thought it would be the practical thing to do.
What was his response?
He doesn't want to live with me.
Oh, darling. Now, you know, there are some men who believe in more traditional values.
Oh, it has nothing to do with traditional values.
Are you sure?
Yes. It's because of Rena.
Don't get started on Rena again.
I can't help it. Ever since Max died, Justin just goes further and further away.
Come over here. Sit on this sofa with me.
I'm sorry. I feel like such an idiot.
Oh, stop. That is not true.
Yeah, it is. Forgive me. I don't think that I've cried in the last 5 years. Now it seems like that's all I can do.
There's nothing wrong with tears.
Maybe in private.
Well, you don't have to feel embarrassed about showing your emotions in front of me, darling, but, well, if you would rather be alone.
No. I don't want to be alone.
Shall I ask one of the secretaries to get you some tea?
No. Thank you. I'll be all right.
Are you certain you're not just imagining things?
I am not imagining things. First it was the wedding date, and now this. I don't know what to do.
What you do is calm down and stop worrying, because I'll take care of everything.
Barry announced that he's staying in Texas.
On the ranch?
That's what he says.
But he doesn't own it anymore.
He says he's going to run it for Justin.
If Kate doesn't want him there, she has every right to ask him to leave. She still owns part of the ranch, Ginny.
Doesn't matter what Kate wants. If it did, Barrett would never have sold out to Justin.
Well, we know that Barry is crazy. That's why he sold.
I feel like I'm responsible.
Oh, don't you say that, Ginny. That's not true. You are not responsible.
He did it to get back at me.
So Justin took advantage of him just like he's taken advantage of everyone else. But Justin is responsible.
Justin certainly has turned everyone's life upside down.
Ginny, if Barry does stay, where are you and Steve going to live?
I don't know.
Come into town. Stay with Mama and Daddy.
Well, I can't leave Kate alone. It's like her whole world has fallen apart. She's been on that ranch for almost 50 years.
I know that, Ginny. But I know how to get Barry to leave town.
How?
Mr. Elliot Carrington. He was a big influence on Barry before.
I know, I thought about that.
So if we get him to leave, that solves one big problem, right?
Yes, but Justin will still be in control of the ranch and turn it into an oil field.
Maybe not.
Rena.
Ginny, I need your help now. Are you ready to give in to Justin?
Well, no, but
now, come on. You and I are going to talk to Kate.
Iris, my secretary didn't tell me you were waiting to see me.
Oh, I didn't ask her to. She said you'd be back shortly, so I told her not to disturb your meeting. I had a talk with Ryan, and I thought you might like a report.
What did you talk to him about?
You. Dennis agreed to support your nomination to the board if Ryan would also support you.
He won't, will he?
Not at the moment.
I'm not surprised. He's probably furious you even asked him to support me.
He wasn't very pleased.
What did he say about me?
A lot of nonsense, which I ignored. I suggest you do the same.
He probably told you that he thinks I'm dishonest.
Yes, he did.
Well, it's not true.
That's why you should ignore him.
Well, that's easier said than done. He's going to try to force me out of the company, I know that.
We have to make certain he doesn't succeed. The sooner we can force him out, the better.
That would have been easier if I would have been on the board.
Well, that's impossible now. We'll have to find another way.
I have some ideas.
What are they?
Well, let me check them out first, and then I'll share them with you, all right?
All right.
Iris, I want to thank you very much for all your help.
Alex had wonderful dreams for this company. You're the only person who can fulfill those dreams. I'll do whatever I can to help you.
Thank you.
Ashley will be a great help to you, too.
Yes, she will.
Have you two set a wedding date?
Well, no, not yet. It's been so busy around here.
I understand you now have control of the Marshall Ranch.
Good news travels fast.
So it does.
I have big plans for the ranch, Iris.
Alex and your father were good friends for a very long time.
Yes, I think my daddy would be very proud of the plans I have.
If your father were alive, he'd be proud of the woman you've chosen to be your wife.
Yes. Ashley is a fine woman.
And from a good family. Those things are important, especially to someone in your position.
Yes, I realize that.
I'm very fond of Ashley. I know you'll do everything in your power to make her happy.
I intend to do my best.
Hello, Grandma. Don't you want to know where I've been?
I don't care, Barry.
I went into town to see Juss.
To make another deal?
No, I tried to back out of our deal. I tried to get my shares back from him.
And he refused, didn't he?
Yes.
You were a fool, Barrett, to make a deal with him in the first place. And you're even a greater fool to think he'd let you out of it now.
He said he'd drill on only 5 acres.
And
he has plans to drill all over the ranch.
And does that surprise you?
He lied to me, Grandma.
You lied to yourself, Barrett.
I appreciate your sympathy.
You don't deserve any sympathy for what you've done to betray us.
Justin told me that the ranch was going to stay intact.
Justin told you that he would get Ginny back for you. That's all you wanted to hear. You didn't care anything about the land or your son or the people who have spent most of their lives working on this ranch. What mattered to you was your own personal feelings.
I love Ginny. I did it for her.
You hate Ryan. That's what's at the bottom
No,
of this.
you're wrong. Now, you know how much I love Ginny.
You're so full of hate, Barrett. You couldn't love anyone anymore.
Ryan took Ginny from me.
No. You lost Ginny on your own without any help from Ryan. It was your fault, Barry. Not Ginny's. Not Ryan. Or even Justin. Now, I understand that. And I'm willing to try to forgive you for having betrayed us.
I don't want your forgiveness. Or your pity, Grandma.
You've just got to accept the fact that Ginny is never going to love you again.
I won't accept it, because it simply isn't true.
There's no way you will ever get her back.
You think I'm crazy, don't you?
I think you need more medical help, Barrett. And if you stay here...
I'm not staying here, not now. Not after what Justin's done. But I'll be back. You tell Ginny she can count on that.
I was just about to come to your office.
Made you a trip, didn't I? Here's your report.
I want to talk to you
About what?
about living together.
You didn't seem to want to discuss that earlier.
Yes, I know. Well, I was just giving it some thought. I think it's pretty silly for us to keep 2 apartments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a friend of mine pack up all my stuff and move it over to your place. I don't know what I'm going to do with my furniture, probably. I don't know. Give it away or sell it or store it.
Well, are you sure? Are you sure you want to live with me, Justin?
Yes. Yes, I'm sure. If it's all right with you.
It's all right with me.
How are you?
Holding on. How about you, Kate?
I'm fine. I was just going to take those flowers down to Max's grave. You know, I was down there early this morning, and all the flowers from the funeral home have wilted. Max helped me plant those.
I remember, darling.
You know, when I married Mr. Marshall and came to live here on this ranch, there weren't many flowers anywhere. And the very first morning, we took sacks of seeds and bulbs and spent the whole day planting them. Max has helped me do that every spring. This spring, there won't be anywhere to plant flowers.
Yes, there will be, Kate.
But there'll be Justin's oil pumps all over the land.
That's not going to happen.
Justin said that he was going to drill on more than 5 acres.
Told you wouldn't keep his promise.
Where is Barrett now?
He's gone back to Colorado. He went in to try to break his deal with Justin after he found the truth about his drilling plans.
At least you don't have to worry about him anymore.
And you don't have to worry about the ranch anymore, Kate, either. Rena and I have figured out a way to keep Justin from having control.